My name is Eliza Britt, and I own Laser Skin Tattoo Removal.
Eliza, you seem like a real person. If I want to Google you, what's how do I go to your what's your web address there?
You'd look up laserskn.com.
LaserSKN.com. I'm going there right now.
So we do laser tattoo removal, which has been pretty incredible resource if you're stuck with a tattoo and you have no idea how to get it off. It's like affecting your career, or you're trying to go into things, or you're having kids and you're like, I actually don't want them to see that I had stupid tattoos when I was younger. So we provide that solution of removing something from your body that maybe you got when you were young and dumb. We just did our quarterlies, and from quarter one of last year compared to quarter one of this year, we've had a 234% increase in revenue.
Can you talk about just the consistency of every week shooting for videos, images, search engine, more Google reviews, just every week doing that? Can you talk about maybe the simplicity or maybe the profundity of doing the simple thing over and over every week?
Oh, I think what baffled me about it first was that it's actually free, and it has been the main thing, if not one of the only things that has grown my business with any significance. So I didn't really understand, like, all the algorithms of Google and that sort of thing, but Clay and you and your team make it so easy. You're like, you literally have four things that you need to do throughout the day. I implemented have getting a Google review and a video testimonial just as my part of my checkout process. So it's not even anything additional. I just tell everyone, I'm like, I ask everybody if they'll do a 20-second video testimonial. They're super easy, very informal, you know what I mean? It just tells other people like how your experience was with my business. So 20 seconds, during the checkout process, and then I'm like, yeah, we'll schedule you for your next one afterwards. And then I always, tap a little link to leave a Google review. It's been vital. It is like the number one way to stay consistent, and consistency equals growth. I have always been, anyone that that knows me will say that I am typically like a butterfly personality. I kind of flip from one thing to another. And starting a business, you can't operate that way. So having a calendar, having notifications of when I'm gonna have a client, like how long that appointment is gonna be, staying scheduled on that throughout the day is completely vital. If I didn't have a calendar, I'd be very lost. You're right. What gets scheduled gets done. Um, a lot of people talk about burnout when they talk about being an entrepreneur or starting a business. They quickly get burnt out on things because they're not scheduling things in their life that they know recharge them. For me, it's really important that I go to church every Sunday. I go to church on Sunday at the same time every Sunday, and I have Bible study at the same time every Monday. That makes it super easy because it's just a part of my routine. It's not an additional thing I have to think about. I simply go to do these things at the appointed time, which doesn't make them like burdensome. It's not an additional difficulty on my brain, and it still allows time for, through the rest of the week to actually get, work done. It's one of the like, just do it. I fought it for so long, and even there's some parts that like I struggle to use. I'm like, I didn't see the notifications. I'll use additional things, like I'll set alarms to make sure that I look at my calendar. So you just have to be dogged. I just create it as a part of your routine. You're gonna resist it for for even a couple weeks. Sometimes be like, I just doesn't work for me. It's like, don't blow it off. If it was important to you and it is important, then just add it. Reaching out to these artists being like, hey, I know that you hate doing cover ups because they suck too. If you send your clients to me, I can do a couple sessions on them, send them back to you, and they can get, a fantastic piece. They'll be happy, you'll be happy, we'll both be paid 10 out of 10, right? So Dream 100 has been pretty incredible. And the other main source that I go out to in Dream 100 are actually permanent makeup places as well. I don't think that there's a single one of us who hasn't seen a bad pair of brows walking around. So they're one of the easiest things to remove too. So reaching out to them and being like, I can solve your problem, I can solve your client's problem, and then they can be happy afterwards. So it's really a win-win. But you have to like interact and reach out to these places and build like a relationship with them, just like you would, any kind of friendship. So a to-do list helps you just prioritize which things you have to get done, and then decide when you are going to get them done throughout the day so that they are actually completed.
How would you describe the return on investment that you've experienced since investing in yourself and in hiring us to coach your company?
It's been absolutely incredible. There's no way I could have achieved this growth in the time span that we have without coaching like this. Same thing that I said earlier is if you're going to be successful at anything, just like being an athlete or a business person, those sorts of things, you need a coach. If you haven't done this before, a coach is super helpful. Um, it's it's not something that I thought of as some like little extra thing that I can add on to my business to help it. It was like, this is going to be a main driver. So, at first as a young person, I'm 23 and this is like my second business, but my first, main business. And I was like, biting my nails a little bit at the price, but just knowing what I needed and what my goals were, I'm like, yeah, you just create budget for things, you cut out certain things that aren't getting you to where you need to go. And this has been like the return on investment is insane. I will be with this company for years because it is like it has been an incredible experience working with like the coaches, the accountability, the knowledge and insight on every step of business. So even though I'm a younger business, we're starting off the first couple of years, they already have plans for way down the road when we franchise and hire employees and all of those things. It's like the answer's already there. I don't have to worry about it. I have a coach. And I know just myself personally, accountability is one of the best things that can support me. I'll get just lost in the nitty-gritty of things or in routine and things that I don't naturally want to prioritize, like sitting down and like, going over like finances and numbers and those sorts of things as a creative. Not my favorite thing. Unless I have accountability and I know I have to get it done by a certain time because I'm meeting with my coach. I'm probably gonna blow it off for something else because I worked all week, right? So they've been super pivotal. It keeps me in a good space throughout the week. I know I'm gonna circle back to the main points that I need to get done. Looking at the numbers weekly is very helpful too because you don't get to the end of the month and being like, wow, there's such a big difference from this month compared to last month. I have to do so much better next month. You're already, checking in weekly. Like, if you were a little bit slower in some areas, like, why were you a little bit slower? Or if you nailed it this week, how can we do that again next week? So meeting monthly isn't just like accountability. It's not just like, yay, you got to the end of the week. It's actually looking at numbers so that you can keep your goals on track.
Well, folks, on today's show, we have a success story. I love to share success stories for two reasons. One, if you visit their website, it helps their website to rank higher in those search results. Two is I want to encourage somebody because there's somebody watching this show today and your business is not growing, it's not booming, or maybe it's doing well, but you want it to do better. But if you feel stuck in any way, I want this show to encourage you. And I believe that today's guest is going to do that. And with that being said, I'm going to ask our guest, ma'am, what is your first name and last names? And what's the name of your company so people can verify you're real? What's your first name, last name, and what's the name of your company?
My name is Eliza Britt, and I own Laser Skin Tattoo Removal.
Eliza, you seem like a real person. If I want to Google you, what's how do I go to your what's your web address there?
You'd look up laserskn.com.
LaserSKN.com. I'm going there right now. Okay, I got it. So Eliza Britt, LaserSKN.com. Eliza, what does your company do? What kind of solutions do you provide?
So we do laser tattoo removal, which has been pretty incredible resource if you're stuck with a tattoo and you have no idea how to get it off. It's like affecting your career, or you're trying to go into things, or you're having kids and you're like, I actually don't want them to see that I had stupid tattoos when I was younger. So we provide that solution of removing something from your body that maybe you got when you were young and dumb.
How common is the need for tattoo removal?
It's extremely prevalent. So there's not very many people who do tattoo removal, but I mean, if you look at, I think it's maybe 30% of the population has tattoos. Almost like I think it's like 2 out of 10 or something like that want a tattoo removed. I think it's 60% of women actually have a tattoo that they want removed. So almost anybody that I meet that I tell that I do tattoo removal, they're like, "Hey, I have this one." Almost every time.
And when people want to get the tattoo removed, what are the most common kinds of tattoos that people want to get removed?
Unfortunately, we remove a lot of names, a lot of wedding bands, unfortunately. Oh man, a lot of just like older tattoos, they become like blurry and faded, or people are like, I don't even remember getting this tattoo. It's probably a bad sign. So it's a lot of like, the poorly done ones.
And is there a particular location that's most common? I mean, are people having tattoos on their hands or their neck or their arms, or where's the most common location that people want to have tattoos removed?
I'd say arms. Usually like legs and back, like it's something that you don't really see, and so a lot of people don't really like, I don't care to get it removed because I don't see it all the time. I would say most common are like hands and forearms because it's something we look at every day, right? That's the part of our body that presents to other people. So usually that's the zone of concern.
I'm going to pull up your website here because I think there's people like if someone's watching this and they live anywhere near you, you can work with them, or maybe people want to fly out to get treatment from you. I'm not really exactly sure. How big of an area do you service?
Pretty big area. So, I'm in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. We have clients out as far as Lewiston, Missoula. So I have some clients who will drive about 3 hours to see me every 6 weeks.
And the process, again, I'm going to the website, laserskn.com, laserskn.com, laserskn.com. When I'm on the site, I mean, what does the process look like if I'm going to get a tattoo removed? How long does it take? How much money does it cost? Or maybe just kind of walk people through that are totally unfamiliar with the process of having a tattoo removed.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like a lot of people don't, they kind of go into it not having any idea how it works. It's very simple. We offer free consultations, so it's like doesn't charge money to talk to me, right? So usually we'll book you in for a consultation, or you can just DM me and send me a picture of what you've got and give you a quote for it. Full removal is usually around 8 to 12 sessions. That's pretty typical across the board for tattoo removal, and we do sessions every 6 weeks. Um, the process is pretty simple. It depends a little bit on what your goals are. So a lot of my clients actually they love tattoos. They just don't like the one that they have. So they'll get like 3 or 4 sessions, and that lightens it enough to where their artist can put over whatever they want. And so that's very common. We call it fade for cover up work. So if you're just wanting that, it's like 3 or 4 sessions. It's a couple weeks, and you're done. You get a new piece of artwork. For those that location might be the problem, like face or neck, hands, that sort of thing. Full removal can be anywhere from technically 3 to 12 sessions.
And one more time, if people want to reach out to you, is the best way to do it to go to LASER, so laserskn.com, laserskn.com, or should they call? Should they fill out the form? What's the preferred method that people can or should reach out to you?
Best way to get a hold of me is to call me. It's 208-771-6733. I answer all the time. I prefer to talk to people. That way, you feel like you've made an actual connection with a human being. You get to talk to a real laser specialist who's, going to give you some information on how that process works. So, definitely calling is the best. If you just want to schedule a consultation and walk right in, then we're good.
Does it hurt for someone to have a tattoo removed? Is it painful?
It's not the most comfortable process, but we have a couple ways of like managing pain, right? I don't just, put the pedal down and laser the crap out of somebody's arm. So we'll use numbing cream, which you apply it like 45 minutes before treatment. Helps a lot. We also just invested in a chiller machine. Basically blows super cold air on the area while we're doing a treatment. Makes it way more comfortable.
All right, all right. Now, how did you originally hear about us? Because we've had the pleasure now of working with you and helping you grow your company. But how did you initially hear about us?
Oh, actually, I was talking with my father, who's been pretty successful in everything he's done. He's pretty amazing. And I was like, Dad, I really feel like, I've started this up. I'm just getting my legs under me, and I feel like I could really use a coach. I know that you talk all the time about like if you're going to be good at anything, if you're going to do it, like be an athlete, if you're going to do business, if you're going to do anything, like you need a coach. Like good, successful people have coaches. And so I was looking at a few different people and I was like, man, I just don't really know like like who to pick, what to go through. I don't want to waste money. My dad was like, I know of this guy who, basically helped Trump get elected through that tour. And he's like, he has a business conference. And I really feel like we should check it out. So I was like, yeah, absolutely. So we flew to Tulsa and did one of the business conferences there, which was an absolute blast. That was the like best experience I've ever had. I mean, walking up and there's like, mariachi and a gorilla, and I'm like, what is happening here? And then I walk inside and all of the all of the people and entrepreneurs that are talking there were just incredible. I mean, it just lights you on fire for business.
Now, the number one reason I hear people, they tell me the reason why they can't be successful, in your world, I asked you, what's the most kind of common tattoo they want to have removed or where is it? In my world, the number one and two excuses I hear why people say I cannot grow a company is they always say I'm too young or I'm too old. I always hear that. They say, I'm too old, Clay. I'm 50. I've never had success. Or, Clay, I'm not even 30 years old yet. Clearly, you're on the younger side of things, but you've had some growth. I'm not asking you to share with us the actual dollar amounts, but could you share with us as a percentage how much growth you've had or how you can share whatever you want to share with our listeners, but how would you describe the growth that you've had?
It has been absolutely incredible. So, I started this business, it was late 2024, so we're still within our first 2 years. I think I started with you, we were fully up and running in December of last year. So, we just did our quarterlies, and from quarter one of last year compared to quarter one of this year, we've had a 234% increase in revenue.
Could you repeat that one more time? Somebody might have blacked out. So you're saying year over year, you had what
Yeah,
percentage of growth?
year over year, we had a 234% increase.
Wow. Okay. So the growth is there. And on part two of today's show, I'm going to share about a home builder. And we helped this guy, if you can believe it, folks, go from 14 million of sales and annual sales to 151 million in sales. So from 14 million to 151 million in sales and just in a span of a few years. So again, it's totally possible whether you're doing skin laser tattoo removal or you're running a home building company, it is possible. This particular guy, we started working with him in his mid 40s. In this particular case, we're working with someone who's on the younger side of things. So let's talk about the things that we've worked on together. First thing I want to hammer is the basics. Having a calendar, becoming a master of managing time. I always tell people if you can't manage your time, you can't manage anything else. Or another way to look at it is what gets scheduled gets done. Busy people, entrepreneurs, we got a lot of demands. How has time management or schedule management impacted you and your in the growth of your company?
It's been vital. It is like the number one way to stay consistent, and consistency equals growth. I have always been anyone that you like that knows me will say that I am a typically like a butterfly personality. I kind of flip from one thing to another. And starting a business, you can't operate that way. So having a calendar, having notifications of when I'm gonna have a client, like how long that appointment is gonna be, staying scheduled on that throughout the day is completely vital. If I didn't have a calendar, I'd be very lost.
I find that people that are younger or older, they'll always say, Clay, it's really hard to find people my age, regardless of what age they are, that have a calendar or have a to-do list or have goals or track their numbers. Have you found that to be true, or am I making that? Is it unique? Do you have a big peer group of people that use calendars and tracking systems, or I want to get your thoughts on that.
No, I honestly can't think of anybody that I know that makes a to-do list or uses a calendar. I don't even think like some of the most productive people in my life that are younger like me, or even that own businesses that are my age, that they don't even use a scheduling system for their clients.
Now, the next area is your F7 goals. We want to make sure you're having success as a business owner and, your faith, your family, your finances, your fitness, your friendship, your fun. We don't, spend our calls talking about fitness. We don't spend our calls talking about your faith necessarily, but to have success, you want to have success as your faith, your family, your finance, your fitness, your friendship, your fun. And again, I find what gets scheduled gets done. Could you talk about that for a second? How maybe using a calendar has helped you to have success in multiple areas and not just business?
Absolutely. You're right. What gets scheduled gets done. Um, a lot of people talk about burnout when they talk about being an entrepreneur or starting a business. They quickly get burnt out on things because they're not scheduling things in their life that they know recharge them. For me, it's really important that I go to church every Sunday. I go to church on Sunday at the same time every Sunday. and I have Bible study at the same time every Monday. That makes it super easy because it's just a part of my routine. It's not an additional thing I have to think about. I simply go to do these things at the appointed time, which doesn't make them like burdensome. It's not an additional difficulty on my brain, and it still allows time for, through the rest of the week to actually get, work done.
I want to share this real quick. This is a fun kind of behind the scenes story. I called you earlier this week because we had an interview scheduled at a later time, and I got a call from a lawyer. And long story short, the lawyer, I have to do a call with the lawyer. And by the way, if you're out there and you own a business and you have to do a call with a lawyer about tax information or whatever, that call is never going to be 15 minutes. So if they say it's going to be a quick 30-minute call, you know it's going to be an hour or two. And a lot of these people charge hourly fees. So anyway, long story short, I called you because I have a calendar. And I said, hey, Eliza, can we move our interview time to Saturday? Because with my current legal call, I just think it's going to go over. Can we do that? And you have a busy schedule and I have a busy schedule, but we were able to look at the calendars and make it work. That kind
Yes.
of thing couldn't happen if you didn't have a calendar and I don't have a calendar. So I just want to tell everybody again, it's so important to have a calendar, whether you're super busy or not. What would you say to somebody out there that's fighting the idea of using a calendar?
Just do it. It's one of the like just do it. I fought it for so long, and even there's some parts that like I struggled to use. I'm like, I didn't see the notifications. I'll use additional things like I'll set alarms to make sure that I look at my calendar. So you just have to be dogged. I just create it as a part of your routine. You're gonna resist it for, for even a couple weeks sometimes and be like, I just doesn't work for me. It's like, don't blow it off. If it was important to you and it is important, then just add it.
Now, the next area I want to focus on is the number of leads. So many business owners struggle to get leads. Now, I'm not going to bore the listeners with all the specific details, but I will tell the listeners, every business owner, you need to have a three-legged marketing stool. And you might say, what does that mean? If you're sitting on a stool and the stool had two legs, that would probably not work well. So you want to have a three-legged marketing stool. And you'd say, well, Clay, how are we growing the business? Like, what are you doing to help grow this tattoo removal company as it relates to generating leads and marketing? One thing is Eliza does a phenomenal job wowing her customers. So if you're watching the show today, I think it's obvious, but we want to wow the customer and you want to gather testimonials. Oh, yes, you need to get testimonials. So you have to get, so leg number one in my mind is you just have to be very intentional about wowing the customer and getting testimonials because nobody with a sound mind is going to hire somebody and say, hey, I know it appears as though you've never done this before. Is there any way I could hire you to be your first customer? No, people want to see. So there's so many testimonials at laserskn.com. You can see it. So that's important. The second is you got to do VISM every week. What's VISM? Video reviews, images, search engine content, more Google reviews. Someone says, huh? VISM. Someone should write that down. VISM. Videos, images, search engine content, more Google reviews. You got to, folks, you got to do it. Now, in part two of today's show, I'm interviewing a mother of seven who has a 3-location medical spa. And she's going to share with you how she finds time to get it all done. But again, VISM, videos, images, search engine, more Google reviews. And then you got to, every month, we behind the scenes are going to optimize the website for search engine compliance. So every single month, we're updating the website to be updated for Google and for Grok and ChatGPT and all those things. Can you talk about just the consistency of every week shooting for videos, images, search engine, more Google reviews, just every week doing that? Can you talk about maybe the simplicity or maybe the profundity of doing the simple thing over and over every week?
Oh, I think what baffled me about it first was that it's actually free, and it has been the main thing, if not one of the only things that has grown my business with any significance. So I didn't really understand like all the algorithms of Google and that sort of thing, but Clay and you and your team make it so easy. You're like you literally have four things that you need to do throughout the day. I implemented have getting a Google review and a video testimonial just as my part of my checkout process. So it's not even anything additional. I just tell everyone I'm like, I ask everybody if they'll do a 20-second video testimonial. They're super easy, very informal, you know what I mean? It just tells other people like how your experience was with my business. So 20 seconds, during the checkout process, and I'm like, yeah, we'll schedule you for your next one afterwards. And then I always, tap a little link to leave a Google review, and I have a little tattoo removal giveaway that I do as a thank you to people who do those. So yeah.
This is so powerful. Again, folks. So, leg number one, you got to wow the customer. I'm telling you, if you don't wow your customers, we got to fix that part. And then you get testimonials. Leg number two, as I look at it, is VISM. It is so important: videos, images, search engine content, more Google reviews. And then we optimize the website for all of our clients behind the scenes. But then there's this thing called the Dream 100, or maybe marketing to centers of influence. Some people might call that centers of influence. Some people call that Dream 100. Chet Holmes is the inventor of the Dream 100 phrase. He wrote a book called The Ultimate Sales Machine. Chet Holmes. He worked directly with Charlie Munger, who was Warren Buffett's partner. So if you want to know who came up with the word or the phrase Dream 100, that's a Chet Holmes thing. Centers of influence, you may have first heard about that through Napoleon Hill. He called it a mastermind or a network. Some people say your network is your net worth. There's a lot of ways you can describe it, but the point is you want to reach out to your ideal and likely buyers consistently, so that way these people that could refer you do refer you. Can you talk to us about your Dream 100 system and the kinds of people that you network with?
Absolutely. It's been some of the most fun. And that's coming from an introvert who is like being forced to socialize with people. So I have a background in the tattoo industry. I worked in a tattoo shop for almost 5 years before I became a laser specialist. And my demographic, right, is people with tattoos. And where do people with tattoos go? They go to tattoo shops. You will almost never find a untattooed person in a tattoo shop unless they are getting a tattoo that day. So, there's one of the things I know just from working in the industry is that cover-ups are one of the hardest things to do, especially, if a tattoo is like super dark or it's in the wrong location, those sorts of things. Um, and so, reaching out to these artists being like, hey, I know that you hate doing cover-ups because they suck too. If you send your clients to me, I can do a couple sessions on them, send them back to you, and they can get, a fantastic piece. They'll be happy, you'll be happy, we'll both be paid 10 out of 10, right? So Dream 100 has been pretty incredible. And the other main source that I go out to in Dream 100 are actually permanent makeup places as well. I don't think that there's a single one of us who hasn't seen a bad pair of brows walking around. So they're one of the easiest things to remove too. So reaching out to them and being like, I can solve your problem, I can solve your client's problem, and then they can be happy afterwards. So it's really a win-win. But you have to like interact and reach out to these places and build like a relationship with them, just like you would, any kind of friendship.
Now, on this idea of to-do lists, if you're driving a car, it makes sense. You're looking out the windshield. Okay, I look as your I look at the to-do list as though it's almost like the windshield. Okay, I'm looking out my windshield. That's my to-do list, and I look at my calendar as like the gauges on my car. How much gas do I have? How fast am I driving? I couldn't imagine driving a car without looking out the windshield and without knowing how much gas I have or don't have. A lot of people, they have a calendar, but then they don't use a to-do list. Can you talk about the impact of using a to-do list or what that's made on your life, having a to-do list in addition to a calendar?
A lot of it has to do with focus. I was listening to a podcast this morning, and it was talking about the downfalls of multitasking. Sometimes if you're looking at your broad calendar, you're like, I know I have to get all of this stuff done in a day. That's great to know, but if you haven't decided what times you're going to do those, how much time they're going to take, and what are the most important things on that, giant list of things to do that you have to get done today, you're going to get to the end of the day having done, maybe 5 out of 10 things. They weren't necessarily the most important. They were just the ones that were easier to do. And then your burning fires are still burning. So a to-do list helps you just, prioritize which things you have to get done, and then decide when you are going to get them done throughout the day so that they are actually completed.
Now, there's somebody watching this show. They say, Clay, I know you charge your clients $1,700 a month. I know, Clay, that when you charge a client $1,700 a month, they get access to the workshops. I know they get access to photography, video, web, search engine, and then they also get access to coaching on a weekly basis. And other people have looked it up and they go, I understand when you work with your clients, you don't charge them per call or per hour or per email. It's a flat rate. And they hear those things. But how would you describe the return on investment that you've experienced since investing in yourself and in hiring us to coach your company?
It's been absolutely incredible. There's no way I could have achieved this growth in the time span that we have without coaching like this. Same thing that I said earlier is if you're going to be successful at anything, just like, being an athlete or a business, person, those sorts of things, you need a coach. If you haven't done this before, a coach is super helpful. Um, it's it's not something that I thought of as some like little extra thing that I can add on to my business to help it. It was like, this is going to be a main driver. So, at first as a young person, I'm 23 and this is like my second business, but my first, main business. And I was like, biting my nails a little bit at the price, but just knowing what I needed and what my goals were, I'm like, yeah, you just create budget for things, you cut out certain things that aren't getting you to where you need to go. And this has been like the return on investment is insane. I will be with this company for years because it is like it has been an incredible experience working with like the coaches, the accountability, the knowledge and insight on every step of business. So even though I'm a younger business, we're starting off the first couple of years, they already have plans for way down the road when we franchise and hire employees and all of those things. Like the answers are already there. I don't have to worry about it. I have a coach.
Well, what's kind of crazy to me is when you come to a conference and you're 23, you'll be seated probably at the conference next to somebody who's 35, and they have been a client since they were 22, and so it's interesting because our average client is with us for 6 years or longer, and it's because every week we're really committed to improving by 1%, 1%, 1%. And I tell you, if you improve by 1% a week, obviously, and you can go faster if you want to, then you are increasing your productivity or success by 50% a year. How would you describe the importance of having that weekly meeting?
Vital. I know just myself personally, accountability is one of the best things that can support me. I'll get just lost in the nitty-gritty of things or in routine and things that I don't naturally want to prioritize, like sitting down and like, going over like finances and numbers and those sorts of things as a creative. Not my favorite thing. Unless I have accountability and I know I have to get it done by a certain time because I'm meeting with my coach. I'm probably gonna blow it off for something else because I worked all week, right? So they've been super pivotal. It keeps me in a good space throughout the week. I know I'm gonna circle back to the main points that I need to get done. Looking at the numbers weekly is very helpful too because you don't get to the end of the month and being like, wow, there's such a big difference from this month compared to last month. I have to do so much better next month. You're already, checking in weekly. Like, if you were a little bit slower in some areas, like, why were you a little bit slower? Or if you nailed it this week, how can we do that again next week? So meeting monthly isn't just like accountability. It's not just like, yay, you got to the end of the week. It's actually looking at numbers so that you can keep your goals on track.
Final question I have here for you with the final 60 seconds we have you. For anybody out there, if you go to, again, that website is LASER, so laserskn.com, laserskn.com. If you go there, what that does is it helps our wonderful client, in this case, Eliza, to rank her website higher in the search results. So if you're out there today and you've learned anything, if you learned anything from today's show, share a link to this show on your social media, and it'll really help her website rank higher. Second is if you go to thrivetimeshow.com, thrivetimeshow.com. If you click on the testimonials button, we have thousands of client testimonials since 2005. I want to ask you the final question with 60 seconds. What do you say to somebody who's on the fence about attending a workshop or scheduling a free 13-point assessment with myself about, potentially becoming a client?
Just do it. You literally have nothing to lose. The 13-point assessment is free. Like the conferences are absolutely incredible. It's 2 days of your time, and it has made the most significant impact I could ever imagine on my business. So you have literally nothing to lose.
Well, you are an inspiration to many. Thank you for carving out time for us, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thank you so much, Clay.
Bye-bye. How much growth have you had from since you and I first met to now, as a percentage or something?
Oh gosh, I'm guessing, but at least 400% since we started, and that was through COVID. Our sales are 4 times higher than they were since we started.
I just want people to reflect on that for a second because I talk to people every day, Lindsay, who come into my place just like you do. People that come in, they're not maybe not feeling healthy, and they come to you for treatments. People come into my life and they go, "My husband and I were contractors, we're dentists, we're doctors, we're lawyers." I just got off the phone with a lawyer he's a great lawyer. He went to college. He's checking all the boxes. He has the degree. No customers. What do you say? The guy, literally, I just talked to a guy just a moment ago, and he's in a different state, and he's going, I have the degrees. I've got the accolades. I've got the resumes. I don't have any customers. And you can tell he's right on the verge of a breakdown, in need of a breakthrough. What do you say to somebody who can kind of maybe feel like they're overwhelmed with this whole entrepreneurship thing?
I say it's doable. I have a husband that has a high demand career. He works 80 hours a week in the fall. We have 7 children together. They're all active in sports. So I know what a full plate looks like, and it's not impossible to be successful as an entrepreneur. You've got to follow the recipe. You may feel like Clay's given some advice that feels redundant, but it does work. And it doesn't require you to completely leave your other obligations alone. I'm at my kids' sports. I'm there for them on the weekends. I get them carpooled everywhere, and I still own a multi-million-dollar business.
Now I'm going to get into the details. I want everybody to listen to what I'm saying, but as I'm getting into the details, please understand, folks, everything I'm saying does not matter if you don't wow your customers, okay? So everything that I'm saying to you right now is predicated on the premise that you will wow your customers. Okay, Thrive Nation, on today's show, I am so fired up for you to meet 2 people. One, there is an unbelievable cheesecake business I work with based in Oregon who's doubled her company in the last 12 months, and you're going to love the story. And the second business, actually the first one on today's show, we've had the opportunity to work with this wonderful company for years, and one half of the team behind the scenes that makes Revitalize Medical Spa happen is today's guest, Lindsay Blankenship. Welcome to the Thrivetime Show. How are you?
I'm doing good, thanks.
Hey, well, I'm going to pull up your website real quick because I want people to know that you're not a hologram and you're a real person. So Revitalize Medical, that's the business, revitalizemedicalspa.com. Tell us about the services that you guys provide there at revitalizemedicalspa.com.
Well, we provide all of your basic aesthetics like Botox and Juvederm fillers, all sorts of different brands of toxin fillers as well. And then we've added hormones, wellness, weight loss, peptides. That's kind of really the niche that I've sprung into, that I just love and adore, and watching people feel better about themselves again and feeling like they're 20 again. So we do everything. We love women feeling like themselves again.
Let me ask you this. If we go back to when you were 20 again, did you want to run a medical spa when you were,
Oh.
and I know you're still 20, but did you have that vision when you were 19 that you wanted to run a medical spa, or how did you arrive into this wonderful, thriving business that you've built?
Well, I think it's a little bit of a God thing. I never wanted to be a business owner. I always wanted to be a doctor as a little girl. Discovered a PA school as an option that seemed to fit me better. And then I met another PA who is my business partner now, and we just decided to get trained in Botox together, do it on the side, and we treated people right, have great customer satisfaction, and so it just exploded into this huge business with 3 locations. So we couldn't be happier now, but neither one of us had the entrepreneurial dream when we were 20.
What is a PA? For people that don't know that language, that nomenclature, what does PA stand for?
PA is a physician assistant. So I describe it to my kids as kind of in between a nurse and a doctor. We can prescribe. We have much more privileges than an RN, but not quite as many as a full-fledged MD. We can't do surgery by ourselves, but we can do all the aesthetics and weight loss and wellness and take care of people. So that's who we are.
Now, for a lot of our listeners, we've got about 1 million people a week that will download the show. Obviously, there's some listeners that will listen to 2 shows and some listen to 1, but there's about 1 million people a week that will download this broadcast on the various channels. And a lot of them live right here in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Some of them don't. For anybody who's in the Tulsa area, tell us about the services that you provide. Maybe kind of for anybody who's going, they're not at all familiar with your industry, or maybe who's your ideal and likely customer or buyer? Who's a good fit for you guys there at revitalizemedicalspa.com?
Well, we treat men and women, but mostly women. As you start to notice differences in aging, whether that's physically on your face or in your body or how you feel. So pretty much, 35 and up is kind of our prime market, but we do have some 20-year-olds, we have some 80-year-olds, but mostly that kind of mid-age mom that's not feeling like she used to and just wants to freshen up, like I said, on the outward appearance or from the internal aspect.
Now I can say this: you and I have worked together long enough now. I think it's been about 5 years, and I know people that have gone to your facility that speak very highly of your facility. How did you originally come in contact with us and my team? Do you remember how that happened, or how did you initially come in contact with us?
I know it was Krista, my business partner. She's the other 50% of Revitalize. She had a connection, word of mouth. I think it was somebody that was elephant in the room connection, maybe. I don't know. It
A
was a
haircut business. Okay.
referral.
Yeah. And I just want to encourage somebody out there, somebody watching today's show, and they feel like you. They feel like, wow, I'm a mom. I never wanted to be an entrepreneur. I'm a dad. Somehow have found myself being an entrepreneur. And you guys, over the past 5 years, like, I mean, you guys have had tremendous growth, and now you're opening up your third location. So I've got a few questions here for you. One is, how much growth have you had since you and I first met to now, as maybe as a percentage or something?
Oh gosh. I'm guessing, but at least 400% since we started. And that was through COVID.
So you're saying, just to be clear, you're saying you've grown 4 times larger than you were since you and I've met. That's a real.
Yes, our sales are 4 times higher than they were since we started.
I just want people to reflect on that for a second, because I talk to people every day, Lindsay, who come into my place just like you do. People that come in, they're maybe not feeling healthy, and they come to you for treatments. People come into my life and they go, my husband and I were contractors, we're dentists, we're doctors, we're lawyers. I just got off the phone with a lawyer he's a great lawyer. He went to college. He's checking all the boxes. He has the degree, no customers. What do you say? I just talked to a guy just a moment ago, and he's in a different state, and he's going, I have the degrees, I've got the accolades, I've got the resumes, I don't have any customers. And you can tell he's right on the verge of a breakdown, in need of a breakthrough. What do you say to somebody who can kind of maybe feel like they're overwhelmed with this whole entrepreneurship thing?
I say it's doable. I have a husband that has a high demand career. He works 80 hours a week in the fall. We have 7 children together. They're all active in sports. So I know what a full plate looks like, and it's not impossible to be successful as an entrepreneur. You've got to follow the recipe. You may feel like Clay's given some advice that feels redundant, but it does work. And it doesn't require you to completely leave your other obligations alone. I'm at my kids' sports. I'm there for them on the weekends. I get them carpooled everywhere, and I still own a multi-million-dollar business.
Now I'm going to get into the details. I want everybody to listen to what I'm saying, but as I'm getting into the details, please understand, folks, everything I'm saying does not matter if you don't wow your customers, okay? So everything that I'm saying to you right now is predicated on the premise that you will wow your customers. Every advice I'm giving you henceforth only works if you wow your customers. So step number one, you've got to be intentional about gathering testimonials from real customers that really like you. And I'm going to give you a backhanded compliment. You're like the best kept secret in Tulsa. You guys do such a great job, and customers love you, but it's not in your nature to, brag on yourself. And so the process of gathering actual testimonials from actual customers, that's been something you've learned to do. Could you talk about that for a second? Because before I met you, you were already wowing your customers. We needed to gather, case studies and testimonials from real people. Could you talk about that?
Sure. Yes. Krista and I are medical people. We are not salespeople, and we hate asking people for things. But it works, and they're happy to do it if they love you. And if you treat people right, they love you. And sure enough, the majority of our referrals are from Google reviews or video testimonials, and they really don't mind helping you out when they love you. People love to talk about what they love. So
now, tracking. Again, none of this matters if you don't wow your customers, which is what you do. You have to track. What we measure, what we treasure. So your husband is in a profession where they track the amount of points that are scored. Anybody out there who watches sports, if you're watching a game that matters, they're keeping score. But for some reason in business, people don't track. They don't measure by default. Can you talk about the importance of measuring what you treasure and you and your business partner diligently tracking the numbers every week?
I think what's helped us with tracking the most is encouraging each other when you feel like you're going through the motions and you're working your tail off and not realizing how much you're growing. The tracking is vital. Also, seeing where our leads are coming from and knowing all this Google review stuff is actually working is vital. I think knowing where our money's going is important, and just kind of blindly doing it without knowing any of this is not helpful in your growth.
And working with you, one thing just to be very transparent with our listeners, I charge you a flat monthly fee. You know what the fee is going to be every month. It's a flat monthly fee. That's how I work. But there's a lot of vendors, and I'm sure you've dealt with them in the past over these last few years, that if you're not careful, they're going to send you an invoice for something you didn't ask for. They're going to send you some just today. I got a massive invoice over $5,000 from a vendor that I never agreed to. And it's usually in those professional services. It's normally in the legal and the accounting and the real estate. And they hit you with these fees. And if you're not careful, if you don't fight for your profitability, nobody will. Could you talk about that a little bit? Because, and again, we're flat rate. That's what we charge you. It's a flat rate. But I'm sure you've started to see vendors try to solicit invoices and charge you for things. Could you talk about that, about watching your numbers?
Absolutely. I think greed is so dangerous, and other people that claim to be helping you or contracting with you see your sales or see some very intimate information like your bookkeeping, and all of a sudden they think they deserve more or a percent of your gross sales or whatnot. And so I think finding the right fit is super important. I think knowing the fees up front and making sure you're signing or not signing contracts is vital in especially as you grow, because people want a piece of your money.
Well, in the final 5 minutes I've got you here today, I want to ask you this here. For anybody out there that hasn't been to one of my conferences before or hasn't worked with us before, I always hear horror stories as recently as just a moment ago from this attorney. And he's like, I went to this guy's conference. Next thing you know, it's like $7,000 a month once you add up all the fees. And it's just this crazy contract I found myself in. And he was struggling to even grasp the idea that we do month to month and it's flat rate. And he's like, well, how long do you work with your clients? And I'm going, well, the average client's usually with us until they sell the brand. I mean, 6 years or 7 years, or I don't know. I mean, OxyFresh has been 18 years. Could you talk about the impact it's made on your business, knowing that, that we're a flat rate and you don't have to think about all the stuff we do in the background for you?
Yes, it's super important. And I think when we do analyze our tracking and our costs and where we can cut costs, our business coach is never on the table as far as that goes, because we know it's a flat rate. You're not going to hike up prices on us. And all the recipe you've given us for success is working. So, and just the accountability, like we would probably slack a little bit on those video testimonials if you weren't at us weekly about it. But I think it's important and it's invaluable, the price you pay.
Now, I have two final questions for you. You have a great team. For anybody out there, if you haven't been to the website, I encourage everybody out there. This is a pro tip for everybody out there. If you're watching today's show and you go to revitalizemedicalspa.com, just that traffic helps increase the rank of someone's website. So if you want to help your friends, go to their websites. It helps increase their rank in the search engine. So I encourage everybody, no matter where you're watching from, go to revitalizemedicalspa.com. But when we go to your website, you have a great team. And that's why I try not to tell, my wife is a cheerleading mother. We have kids in cheerleading, and I try not to tell anybody at all that I work with you. I watch it happen, and I hear people all the time brag about, oh my gosh, that's the place to go. They're awesome. They're great. But you have great people. You have great people. Could you talk about why you're so intentional about who you hire there at your business?
Yes, I think we had to learn the hard way. We hired some bad apples to finally find the good apples. Our team is amazing. You've got to find like-minded people. I think our patients too make the business. I think we've learned to be picky with who our market is, and some people want a look that we don't want to give. And so we tell them, and we're not scared to turn away clients and say, we're probably not your best fit. So that helps a lot, finding your ideal and likely market and being specific with that and picky. And same with your employees. That's so important. Don't settle. Don't ever settle because it'll bite you in the butt.
Now, my final question I have here for you, I'm pulling it up right now, and I'm going to show you some data. You're a smart woman. You're an analytical person. You look at things, so I'm not assuming you just to blindly believe these numbers. But this is the U.S. debt clock. This is the website that tracks the national debt, and you might see people post about this. And we're not trying to focus on these numbers, but I want to zoom in on one number in particular. In a country of 341 million people, Americans, we only have 8.9 million self-employed people. Now, just to give you some background on this, folks, just some perspective, if 10% of our population was self-employed, we would have 34 million self-employed people, but we don't. And so if 3% of our population was self-employed, we would have 9 million self-employed people-ish, but we don't. Folks, we are talking about, we only have, 2%-ish of the American population that is self-employed. And then according to Inc. magazine, this is going to blow someone's mind here. According to Inc. magazine, and the U.S. Chamber has their own studies too, but 96% of businesses fail. Think about that. I mean, by default, most people have no idea where they're going. And by default, they fail. So as you are triumphantly opening up your third location, can you talk about just the peace of mind you have knowing that you're following a proven plan? Because everybody else by default seems to be guessing and failing. And you guys are following this plan. You're doing it week after week. Now you're opening up the third location. Can you talk about just maybe the peace of mind you feel following a proven plan?
It's worked. It's worked through 3 locations, and we're about to move into this brand new building for our third location. And because it's worked historically in the past, we just trust it's going to keep working. We always, at the end of the year, when we're looking at our total sales, it always blows us out of the water. It's way over what we predicted or shot for, and it's because we follow the process. We do the work, and it works.
Now, I'm not going to mention your husband, what he does, but I'm just going to say this. You guys are great people. I think your husband is first class. I think you're great. You and one of my clients in Oklahoma City are the only people that I know who have 7 kids. I have 5 kids. I've read stories about people that have more than 6 kids, but you guys have 7 kids. You're doing it. Everybody out there, I'm telling you, if Lindsay can find time to do it, you can do it too. Lindsay, the final 30 seconds, I'll give you the final word. What do you want to say to everybody out there who's watching today's show, maybe feeling a little overwhelmed, struggling to find the time to do it? You're doing it. What would you say to anybody out there watching?
Well, thank you, first of all. I think I'm my husband's biggest fan too, and he's awesome. My biggest advice is don't give up. You can do it one day at a time, one step at a time. Again, I work 28 hours a week now, and I have 7 kids and this multi-million-dollar business that we just keep opening more locations, and it's doable. We do the hard work. We don't slack off in any department, but it's worth it. And I wouldn't trade being my own boss for anything in the world.
Well, it's an absolute honor to serve you, and I appreciate you carving out time. And just so people know, you're having massive success. I called Lindsay. I said, is there any way you could hop on the show to encourage some of our listeners? She did not call me. She's a very humble person behind the scenes. And I appreciate you stepping out of your comfort zone to be here with us. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Well, I can say just from this last January to last January, if you just took that month with our online shipping orders, we grew 240%. I would say 2 things, and you did not pay me at all to say this, but I would definitely go to one of your conferences, because what I tell people, it's not a motivational conference, it's an action-packed conference, and you're going to learn the steps to grow your business and scale it if you want.
If your mom has a sweet tooth, you might want to listen up. We recently talked to an Albany-based cheesecake company led by a mom with an inspirational story and some delicious decadent cakes. Check it out. I'm joined now by the owners of beloved cheesecakes, Jen Jacobson-Brusa and Gabe Jacobson. Thank you both for coming on. Welcome.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah,
Yes, thank you so much.
Folks, on today's show, we have the pleasure, the honor to be joined with a real longtime client of mine, a wonderful lady. She's built a wonderful business called BelovedCheesecakes.com. Jen, welcome on to the Thrivetime Show. How are you?
I'm doing good. Thanks for having me, Clay.
Hey, I was good. The reason why I wanted to interview you on today's show is that at the conference we did, the last conference we did, you came up for a while. We had you do kind of a question and answer session. And we had one particular conference attendee that was telling me they were very inspired by the fact that you are just on your grind, you're implementing these action items. And they were saying that they felt through hearing you talk about how you were embracing the grind and diligently implementing the action steps that we've been coaching you through, it inspired them that they too could do it. So I wanted to ask you first, how did you originally hear about us or the coaching program that we offer here at the Thrivetime Show?
My first time hearing about you was at the Reawaken America tour in Oregon of 2022.
Okay. And you know, we've worked with you since that time, and it's been really spectacular to watch you grow your business. For the listeners out there that aren't familiar, I'm going to pull up your website. It's belovedcheesecakes.com, belovedcheesecakes.com. Tell us about the business, how many locations you have, and just kind of give us a little bit of familiarity into your business there.
Yeah, so I started Beloved Cheesecakes 5.5 years ago as brick and mortar in a small town, Silverton, Oregon. And that was 8 months before the lockdown. And anyways, end up having you come on board, and we've been growing. We now have 2 brick and mortar locations, have an online presence, and now I'm in a prestigious, like, bougie grocery store, and 20 different restaurants and growing.
So let's talk about it real quick here. Jack Welch, the CEO of GE, and I'm not trying to paint you into a corner, and I don't expect you to be a Jack Welch expert, but he did grow GE by 4,000%. He's also the best-selling author of a book called Winning. He wrote the following quote. He said, "You've got to eat while you dream. You've got to deliver on short-range commitments while you develop a long-term strategy and vision and implement it. The success of doing both, walking and chewing gum, if you will. Get it done in the short range while delivering a long-range plan and executing on that." Man, I wish more entrepreneurs could hear that quote and understand it as it relates to your business and as it relates to you being a coaching client of ours. Talk to us about the balance between having the big vision of where you're going and then also needing to answer the door when a new customer comes in, shipping the cheesecakes out, hiring staff. Talk to us about the balance of thinking about your long-term vision and also your short-term daily demands.
Yes, well, what I've learned from you and the business conference is how important it is to have a schedule. And if you don't have a schedule, your schedule is going to run you, having your to-do list. And that's what it is. It's not, I in the past have been easily distracted with the busy things, and I have to stay focused. I've learned that from you as well. There's so much I've learned from you, but just today, I'm having to work the front. I'm dealing with customers, but I'm also having to make sure that we have everything taken care of for next week and have our, inventory and supplies and all that ready for next week. So it's just staying on task, not getting sidetracked, and being able to say, I just had customers come in and they know me and they're like, "Oh, hi, I haven't seen you forever." And I'm like, "I'm so sorry. I have a call I have to take," so it's just staying on task.
Now, I'm going to pull up I'm going to go 90 miles an hour because that's what it's like being an entrepreneur. So I'm going to go 90 miles an hour because that's what it's like to be an entrepreneur. And I'm going to walk people through this path that we're guiding you down, the path that you're going down, and the path that's producing success for you. First off, you have to know your goals. Jen, 90 miles an hour. Why do you have to know your goals as an entrepreneur every single day?
Well, if you don't have your goals, then what are you shooting for? It's like I've never been a basketball player, but you're not making the shot. You're just like throwing the ball and just hope it goes wherever. So you've got to know where you're shooting and have your goals for that.
Now, I'm not fishing around for you to tell me the answer on this, but I want the listeners to know, your break-even point. You have to know how many customers you need just to break even. Maybe it's not the most fun to think about that, but every entrepreneur needs to know the numbers. Box number 3, you have to know how many hours you're willing to work. And you're somebody who will outwork almost anybody. You are a very hard worker, a diligent worker. You're also a business owner. You're also a mom. Let's talk about that, because the Bible in Genesis and Exodus, it talks about working 6 days a week and resting on the 7th. I think most Americans today don't work more than 40 hours a week. Let's talk about the grind.
It's real, we now are in this bougie market called Zupan's Market here in the Portland area. and we have to deliver to them. So we have to be up at 4:30 in the morning on Wednesdays and be delivering. And then Wednesday we had an event that started at 5. It went until 10 at night. So we didn't get home until 11:30. And that's just what you have to do. You have to keep digging the ditch. I know it won't be like this forever, but right now you just have to keep doing it.
Now, the next area, the next box, and I want to brag on you for this. A lot of clients come to me and they say, hey, I don't really have a unique value proposition. You guys had already, box number 4, had already established step number 4, a unique value proposition. Beloved Cheesecakes, you had already developed the flavors, the product, a great dessert item. I didn't need to help you with any of that. You'd already had that in place. I think the one thing we had to work together on, though, was to gather objective reviews from happy customers. So now when people go to belovedcheesecakes.com, we've got a large variety of happy client testimonials, objective reviews on Google, video reviews, and you can't fake that stuff. Can you talk about the importance of A, having a unique value proposition, and then B, gathering reviews from real people so that other people know about your unique value proposition?
Well, definitely. We have an amazing product that we're consistent. It's high quality. We have our no-brainer, which is free cheesecake samples. And I try to tell a lot of my business friends, offer something for free, or, like how you do $1 for your first month of coaching. And then what was the second part of the question?
No, I'm sorry to do a 2-part question, but I mean, one is you already had a great product, but I think one thing you and I've worked on together is making sure that the world knows it's great by gathering objective reviews. And before I met you, I think you had people love the product, but there wasn't a lot of online evidence that people did.
No, there wasn't. And I'm going to be honest, the first month coaching with you, I thought, this is so dumb. Why am I focusing on Google reviews? But I'm so glad that I focused on it. We've got amazing reviews, and it does make a difference. It keeps us up in the algorithm. It keeps us up on, people find us all the time through Google searching for best dessert or cheesecake. And then it's, you want real experience. You want people to actually share and not be fake. So I look at reviews.
Now, since you and I have met, have you noticed an increase in the amount of online traffic or online orders or online purchases? Because again, you already had a great product before you and I met. And have you seen an increased amount of online traffic?
Oh, 100%. Increase in online traffic, increase in walk-ins. I mean, it's everything that I've implemented. Having you as a coach, if I wasn't doing the action steps that you share with us, then I wouldn't be where I'm at today. And I mean, I think of myself without you in my life, and there's no way. I would not have known about the Dream 100. I wouldn't have known about the Google reviews, the images, the SEO, the more images, more reviews. I wouldn't.
And you're into what's so fun, and why I called you today. I said we have to get you on the show. Is here we had an entrepreneur you've never met before, and I won't mention his name, but he was coming to our conference almost depressed about where he was at with his life and his business. And he came to the conference because his family is so successful. So his family said, look here, buddy, you should come to this conference. And so he is a member of the same family, a different business. And he's like, wow, my family's having success. There must be something wrong with me. I don't know why I'm not having success. And when you came up and had the courage to just share about, wow, this is a grind, it inspired him to take action, and it's been unbelievable the success it's had on him. Box number 5, branding. You guys have great branding. Everybody out there, if you want to see great branding, go to belovedcheesecakes.com, order a cheesecake, and you're going to see great branding. I'm talking about the packaging, the way the product shows up, the way the product tastes, the follow-up process, the way you call consumers if they have questions. Branding is a big thing. Branding is what consumers think about when they think about your business. Can you talk about the importance of being intentional about your branding?
We are very intentional with our branding. So, we are all about having a high quality, consistent product and giving excellent customer service. So we do a handwritten note with every cheesecake that is shipped. We call our orders. I mean, that's kind of a dinosaur age of people calling on the phone nowadays, but we call and thank them for their order, verify it, confirm it. And that's what we want to be branded for, is having exceptional customer service and exceptional product. And just even coming in, like going to your conference. I can try to tell everyone to go to the conference, but you have to go and experience it. And it's the same thing with beloved cheesecakes. I can tell you all about it. You can experience the taste of it, but it's different when you actually come in our building. And that's another exceptional brand that we have. We have signs all over the walls, and that's our branding inspiration.
Now, the final 5 minutes we have you here, again, we're going to go 90 miles an hour because that's the way entrepreneurs go. You broke away from your very busy day to do this interview, and I appreciate you doing that. A three-legged marketing stool, you have to have a consistent, turnkey, repeatable way to get customers. Now, in your business, we do the Dream 100, where we reach out to our ideal and likely buyers, and we let people know about the product, aka the gourmet grocery store, podcasters, influencers, that kind of thing. The second leg is we gather objective reviews from happy consumers, and we also write search engine content to come up top. So leg number 1 is Dream 100 marketing. Leg number 2 is online marketing. And leg number 3 is signs and wonders. You have compelling locations. You put up signage that makes sense. You're always offering the consumer a no-brainer offer for first-time customers. Can you talk about the mental stress that has gone away by knowing that you have a three-legged marketing stool of things that work? Because so many of my coaching clients tell me, they say, Clay, before we started working with you, we were trying everything and we didn't know what would work. And now we've got 3 things that do work. Could you talk about that, the importance of having a three-legged marketing stool in place?
Yeah, well, I think it does, because when you're hit as a small business owner, you have the people that have magazines, they want you to be in their ad, or your radio stations. And, before I knew you, I was investing and bleeding with these radio ads and magazines. And, it's very simple. We have our Google reviews, we have signage, we have the SEO, we have all of these things, and we track how we ask every single person how they hear about us. And so we have a spreadsheet, and we're able to keep track of how people are hearing about us. And so we can see where our marketing dollars are of value. And we have returning customers, and so many people come in because they see the signs and then the Google reviews, so it is important, and it's simple. We make it so much harder by, doing all the other fluff, I guess. And
now,
yeah.
I don't want to paint you to a corner. I'm not looking for a hard number. I'm just trying to build somebody's encouragement they can do it. If you had to think back 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago, in terms of the amount of online business you're generating now, people that find you from the internet, whether it be locally or online from out of state, how much kind of an increase do you think you've seen in online or traffic that's generated from search engine optimization, that kind of thing, than maybe 2 years ago?
Well, I can say just from this last January to last January, if you just took that month with our online shipping orders, we grew 240%.
It's so great. If you're out there, folks, I get emotional, coughing it up here, allergies. No, but if you look up Jen and her business, you are a very approachable, very normal person, but you're in the grind. And so my final 2 questions I have for you. Question 1, what do you say to any entrepreneur out there that's stuck? They feel like, oh my gosh, I have so much that I need to do. And and in this case, this young man came to a conference and his own family's there with him. He's feeling like he's not keeping up, like he doesn't have what it takes. And your message encouraged him so much. He felt like he could do it. What do you say to somebody out there that feels kind of stuck?
Well, I would say 2 things, and you did not pay me at all to say this, but I would definitely go to one of your conferences, because what I tell people, it's not a motivational conference, it's an action-packed conference, and you're going to learn the steps to grow your business and scale it if you want. And then also, we do here at Beloved Cheesecakes, we have our to-do list, but we've taken 6 of the to-do list items, 7 of them, make them our priority for the day, and at least to check off those 7 items, or 6, 7 items a day. So that way you are doing a little bit every day and you're seeing a dent in your to-do list as it keeps growing.
Now, final question I have here, Fran, and I know you have to get back to your shop because it's a very busy day there at belovedcheesecakes.com. A lot of our listeners, they look for a great gift idea. They want to get their spouse something for maybe an anniversary. Somebody's dating somebody. They're looking for a gift. Maybe they're going to take a gift to a family member. Maybe it's a birthday, Valentine's, 4th of July, Christmas, Thanksgiving, whatever the holiday is. And I encourage everybody out there to check out your products. But what should everybody check out if they have yet to experience belovedcheesecakes.com?
I would say check out our mini cheesecakes. You can get those. They're 4-inch cheesecakes, and you can pick up to 4 kinds. That's our ultimate sampler. You could do that. But yeah, we have Easter coming up. We have Mother's Day. We have graduations. All of those things coming up, and it does make such a unique gift to give to someone that has everything. So,
Jen, thank you so much for your courage, A, to come up at the conference and share your story. I encourage so many people. And B, thank you for carving out time amidst your very busy day to be on the Thrivetime show today. I encourage everyone to go to belovedcheesecakes.com. That's plural, Beloved Cheesecakes with an S, belovedcheesecakes.com. Jen, thank you so much. Have a great day.
Thank you, Clay. You have a great day too.
Bye-bye.
Clay, my honor to be on your show. And thank you for all you do. I hear the ripple effects from you are good ripple effects. You know what I mean? People rave about what they learned from you. So congratulations.
Sean, guess what's happening? April 9th and 10th, 2026.
We are probably going to have an amazing business conference here at Tulsa, Jerusalem.
Yes, we're joined by Tim Tebow. Tim Tebow is going to be joining us right here at the Thrivetime Show World Headquarters, June 5th and 6th. He's a very successful football player, obviously a Heisman Award winner, but he's also a very successful entrepreneur. Now, when you work with real clients, Sean, clients you really work with to help them grow their companies, do you ever hear a business owner tell you that they didn't have time to get something done?
Every day.
How often is not having enough time a problem for business owners?
All the time. It's like maybe 90% of the issues as people are trying to grow their company.
Well, Tim Tebow is going to come join us here at the in-person Thrivetime Show 2-day interactive business workshop, and he's going to teach us time management and his approach to personal self-discipline and getting things done. Also at the workshop, I'll put up on the website so people can see it here. Also at the 2-day interactive workshop, Sean, we are going to be, there it is. We're going to be teaching accounting, systems creation, marketing, human resources, how to hire, inspire, train, and retain great people, accounting, social media advertising, search engine optimization. Sean, what's the area where most clients ask you for help the most? Is it generating leads? Is it hiring people? What's the biggest issue that most business owners have by default before they come to one of our workshops?
Well, I think it's management, because time is the most valuable resource for these business owners, and being able to manage their time is the first thing. Once they get that under control, then generally the numbers, being able to track their business and be able to make the best decisions based on numbers rather than emotions is a big area. And we teach all of this stuff at the business conference, particularly you, Clay. You love to hammer on time management. It's my favorite part of the conference.
Now, I'm going to pull this up real quick here because we're going to go through. If you're not excited, I want to get you excited about what we're going to cover at the workshop here. Okay.
All right.
The 2-day interactive workshop. This is my 20th year hosting workshops. So I'm telling you, folks, we're in rare form here. So one is the idea of establishing your revenue goals. I think most entrepreneurs don't know their revenue goals. Would you agree, or am I off my rocker?
No, that's totally a very important point we do with every one of our new clients that come on board, is we have to establish the revenue goals. And generally speaking, we have a vague idea, but not an exact idea that can be engineered down into like the daily goals for sales. And so that's a really big one.
Now, next is the break-even numbers. What kind of sales do you have to do to even break even?
Yeah.
Third is, how many hours per week do you want to work? What is your ideal schedule as an entrepreneur? Box number 4, how do you stand out in the clutter of commerce? What makes your company unique from all the different businesses? In a world of brown cows, herds of brown cows, proverbial brown cows, the analogy of brown cows, how can you be the purple cow that stands out? How can you be the squeaky wheel that gets the oil? Box number 5, branding. How do you improve the perception that people have of you, your business, your brand? Box number 6, Marketing, your three-legged marketing stool. What is a turnkey way for you and your company to generate leads so you can succeed? Because if you don't have any leads, your business will bleed. If you can't sell, your business will go to hell. You've got to generate leads. Sean, how often do business owners by default tell you they have a hard time generating leads?
It's almost all of the time. It's really a huge struggle. And many times they may be creating leads, but just through word of mouth. So they get to a point where we've implemented systems and then they need to create more leads, but they've never had to do it. So there's a lot of different scenarios where business owners are like, how do you create leads? Something we hammer on at the conference a lot.
Box number 7, create a sales conversion system. Again, box number 7, create a sales conversion system. Sales scripts, recorded calls, one sheets, pre-written emails, lead trackers, all of the sales tools, the sales print pieces, the one sheets, the big screens that you see inside the business. Whether you're a doctor, you're a dentist, you're a lawyer, you got to have sales systems in place. We help you with that. Box number 8. What does it cost you to get another customer? Step number 8, what does it cost you to actually acquire a customer? Step number 9, it's hard to build an organization if you're not organized. We're going to teach you how to create repeatable systems, processes, file organization. Box number 10, we're going to teach you how to manage people, real people on the planet Earth. This just in, we're going to teach you how to manage real people on the planet Earth. Box number 11, how to create a sustainable schedule that works for you and your family. Step number 12, how to create human resources systems for recruiting, hiring, training, and retaining great people. Box number 13, accounting. This just in, we have to cover accounting. It's not how much you make, it's how much you keep. We're going to cover all the accounting things you need to know. And step 14, finally, what is the point of even achieving success? We're going to go over what is the point of even achieving success, how to design a life that you're excited about, how to design a life where you carve out enough time for your faith, your family, your finance, your fitness, your friendship, your fun, and where you're going to spend your focused time. We're going to go through that, all this and more. Now, the workshop, Sean, it's April 9th and 10th. Yep. It's a 2-day interactive workshop.
Yes.
And tickets, we always do it. It's $250 or whatever price that someone can afford. Sean, why do we let people name their price? Why do we have scholarship tickets available if somebody can't afford the $250 general admission ticket?
Well, we don't want anybody to miss out on it. You know, you could be at a startup phase or you could be, way along in your business, but we want to make it accessible for everybody. I think it actually goes back to a story of your dad. And like, it goes all the way back to how you've always done this as a business coach, trying to make sure that, your average people out there have access to the things that work.
Now, 7 a.m. to 5, Sean, why do we go from 7 to 5 both days? I mean, it's 10 hours a day. 20 hours of training over 2 days. Why do we do 10 hours a day, Sean, of back-to-back workshops? We do a 30-minute teaching session. We do a 15-minute question and answer session, and then we take a break. 30 minutes of teaching, 15 minutes of question and answer, then we take a break. Why do we do that format, Sean?
That format is so that we can keep people engaged and not just sitting there listening, but also getting involved. We really encourage people to ask questions, and that's really where the juiciness of the conference comes out, is you can put your personal situation and your questions on the board, and Clay will tee off and give you direct advice. Even without being in our coaching program, you can get direct coaching from Clay. It's really a very engaging format. I enjoy it a lot.
Once again, folks, this event is April 9th and 10th, 2026. Get those tickets at thrivetimeshow.com. Once again, that's thrivetimeshow.com. Whoa. Who's our keynote speaker coming to the conference there, Sean?
Tim Tebow is our keynote speaker.
Sean, question number 3, how much does it cost to come to our in-person 2-day interactive business workshop right here in Tulsa, Oklahoma?
I think it's, did you say it's $250 or whatever you can afford?
That's right, $250
Yes.
or whatever you can afford. Sean, how do you spell Eric Trump backwards?
P-M-U-R-T-C-I-R-E. Ooh, that took a long time.
I'll have to listen to this. And you did it right. All right, again, that's Sean Lohman. I'm Clay Clark, inviting you to come join us at the in-person Thrivetime Show 2-day interactive workshop. This event is April 9th and 10th, 2026. Get those tickets at thrivetimeshow.com. Once again, that's thrivetimeshow.com. Right here in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Tim Tebow, baby. It's Tebow time.
Oh, yeah.
In Tulsa, Jerusalem.
You could be anywhere doing a lot of different things, but you chose to be here.
Clay Clark is here somewhere. Where's my buddy Clay? Clay's the greatest. I met his goats today. I met his dogs. I met his chickens. I saw his compound. He's like the greatest guy.
I ran from his goats, his chickens, his dogs.
So this guy's like the greatest marketer you've ever seen, right? His entire life, Clay Clark, his entire life is marketing.
Hey guys, Luke Erickson here with the Thrivetime Show. As you can see behind me, we've got all kinds of energy going on. People are starting to show up for the conference, and it is hot in this place. We got grill guns over here. We've got people playing the drums. We've got a fire breather, and man, people are so excited as they come in. The conference is kicked off. This house is packed. We've got Aaron Hansis with Shotguns up there. We've got Steve Currington with Total Lending Concepts up there talking about what is possible when you just implement, when you do the proven system. It's so exciting. People are going crazy. Guys, Luke Erickson with the Thrivetime Show here with you. It is day 2 and the energy is high. People are so excited to be showing up. The team is ready. Come on, let's see what it's like to go on in for day 2. Follow me.
My name is Kevin Thomas, and the name of our company is MultiClean. We are a commercial janitorial service, and we serve the entire state of Oklahoma and Kansas, and soon to be Arkansas. We have probably grown probably 5 times. We've added, I think when we first started with you, we had 60 to 65 employees, and now we have a little over 300 employees. Before we got involved with Thrivetime, we didn't really have any systems or processes in place. So I've probably been to, in 6-7 years, I've probably been to 12 to 13 business conferences, and amazingly, each time I go, I learn something new, and I'm so excited to bring it back and show the team.
4,000% from February to February. Now I can better that. Okay, Clay, I don't think you know this. I don't think you know this. I'm pinching myself, and if I cry, forgive me. In the last 2.5 days, we have bettered our entire month of February. In the last 2.5 days.
I heard about it on the podcast. Started listening to the podcast, became a fan, and then figured out about the workshop. I own an insurance and financial services agency, and I was hoping to learn from the workshop systems and processes. I'm big on systems and processes, and always learning better ways to run a business more efficiently. The atmosphere's second to none. It's a high energy, really cool atmosphere to be around. Contagious, I would say. Just something every entrepreneur, I think, would appreciate and love. I'd say humorous, high energy, and full of substance, which I think is the key. A lot of business coaches or seminars maybe are high on motivation and making you feel good, but don't have a lot of substance that you can take back and implement, the following Monday, where his does. Man, there's a lot of valuable things. I'm gonna say, this is my second workshop. The first workshop I took back really the importance of a group interview. I used to spend hours and hours interviewing people, screening resumes, and that saving my time on that part is valuable. It was that and then the sales scripting that have been 2 major things just so far. Man, I think they're missing out on, expert advice from somebody who's been there, done that, built companies, has learned a lot of lessons. That's what I'm always looking for, is somebody that I can learn from that's ahead of where I am. And I think if you choose not to come, you're missing out on a lot of good advice that could help your business.
Hi, this is Charles and Amber Koloff. We're the owners of Koloff Fitness. We heard about Clay Clark through Paul Hood, our CPA. We've worked with Clay Clark for the last 2 years. Clay Clark has helped us take our 3 locations in 3 different states and create checklists, workflows, task lists, time blocks for every employee. He's helped us with creating systems and audits for every department, quantitative scorecards for each department and every position so that everybody has a number. It's been able to give us a lot of time freedom and financial freedom and peace of mind to know that everything's running efficiently, and he's been helpful with a lot of marketing, search engine optimization, helping us really rank high in Google, and pretty much every area of the business. It's been very, very helpful.
We would describe the experience of working with Clay as very energetic. He's full of energy. He's very encouraging, very motivating, but also accountable. So he keeps us accountable, and we love that accountability. It keeps our drive in the right direction, so we're not chasing things that aren't worth spending our time on.
Yeah, he's a great coach. He helps push us on certain areas, helps coach us in certain areas. You know, we're all emotional creatures, and we go up and down, and he actually will tell us kind of where we're at, how we can get from there. And even like emotionally, like when we're stressed about something, he'll have a story to relate to, and it really helps us in every area of our business. It's been very, very helpful.
I think Clay's ability to have a whole team behind him that help him with all of his clients, all his coaching clients, is that it allows Clay to do what he's really good at, and that's working one-on-one with the client and coaching them. And then he can have his amazing staff come in and help you accomplish all these goals that you're setting.
And of course, he has all these resources, whether it's videographers or whether it's web developers, that they can quickly jump on your project, knock things out. He can quickly give you the right coaching. He's just got a whole team of people that whatever area you're lacking in your own company, he's got resources from like video, web design, search engine guys who are just knowledgeable in that. Even though he knows a lot of that stuff, he's got these capable lieutenants that are ready to just take off and help you get that stuff. More stuff gets done on a weekly basis than you would on like probably most than the individual or some other company. We've worked with several companies before, and it's just not as many things get done on a weekly basis, so it's been very helpful. Well, the conferences for me, I'm a slow learner, so I have to learn like over and over again, hear things over and over again. I've been to like, I think 8 different conferences, and each time you come, I learn a few new components. Some things are repetitive, but a lot of the stuff just resettles, and I get a little bit more depth into each component. I've been to 8 of them. They're all super entertaining. He's very funny, very encouraging. You get to kind of self-reflect a lot. A lot of the stuff is really polarizing. You do a personal inventory of yourself, and you'll think like, hey, I've really got to work on this, really got to work on that. So every time you come, I still get a lot of value out of it.
And as much as every conference is the same, it's totally different. So I think we'll hear stories we haven't heard before. They'll have entertainment, or he'll have speakers he didn't have before. And you, like you said, you just always catch a different part of the material that maybe you didn't catch before, or it's worded differently.
And it's really cool because some people that you've seen like a year ago at a conference, now they're being showcased as a success story, and you get to see their website, you get to see how their stats, all their metrics have improved and the revenue improved. So it's really cool to see people that just a year ago, that of course we've been here 2 years, that just came, that I met, is now being successful. It's really encouraging to see other people, accomplish that stuff. So Clay has helped us optimize our website and helped with really topping the right search engines that we need to make sure that we are very, very competitive with all of our other competitors. He's done, basically he outlines exactly what you need to be accomplishing, and he creates tasks that we have to accomplish and his team has to accomplish. And I would say over the last 2 years, we've totally ramped our website. We're topping Google in every one of our markets. We're just doing really, really good. I feel very, very confident in all of our future locations and making sure that we're in front of the ideal and likely buyer. It's very encouraging. It's important to me to know when I'm working with Clay, I've been in business for a while and met with him even when I already had three businesses in 3 different states, and to know that what I share with him is staying private. He's not sending that out to anybody else. To know that when he's working with me, he's only working with no other gyms that are in direct competition with me. It's very encouraging to have somebody you can trust and rely on, that he isn't going to somehow tell your trade secrets or give information away. Just really awesome that he's a trustworthy guy, really cares about you as a client. For us, it's been a complete mind freedom because Clay has helped us create a lot of different documents and one-sheets for every department, put quantitative scorecards to each department. And so for us, it's been very encouraging and gives us peace that when, as an entrepreneur, it's stressful. You go to bed at night and you're worried, did we cover this, did we cover that? So he helps extract everything out of your brain, everything from your business, put it into document creation, put it into checklists and workflows for every person in each department, and make sure that everything's getting done every week, every month, and funnel that all into KPIs or key performance indicators that you can see on a weekly basis to make sure you're moving the needle in the right area of your company. So very encouraging and give you a complete mind freedom and peace to know that that stuff's created so you're easy to duplicate and scale your company.
Right, and then we can spend time doing what we're really good at and just trust the system.
I honestly believe everybody needs a coach. I think we're all inherently lazy and selfish and carnal. I truly believe that humans are humans. We'd rather, if we're standing, we'd rather sit. If we're sitting, we'd rather lay down. And if we're laying down, we'd rather be asleep. So to have somebody that challenges you, have real active candor, and be honest with you on every aspect of your company is really, really encouraging to me, because I want to know, I want to work on what we're weak at. I want to see any areas that we're not doing well in, and see his perspective from a third party, because you can look at your own business and just see the good. It's good to have somebody who does this, who's done this with hundreds of companies. Really look at your company, reflect on your company, and see like little chinks in the armor to make sure you cover that up so your competition can't get to you, and that you're successful overall in the big picture. So yes, I would recommend Clay Clark, because he is a great friend, a great encourager. To me, he's been a wonderful friend. He's also, you can tell he cares, and he has this wealth of knowledge. He's worked with so many different companies and different businesses. He could take a concept that he's used before in the past with somebody totally different industry and see how it would work perfectly for you in whatever niche market you're in or whatever type of service you're providing. And so his brain is just a wealth of knowledge, and just to have that type of perspective on, as a part of your team and your own company is huge, super valuable. So I would definitely encourage people to use him. But one thing is, you got to be coachable. You got to be wanting to get feedback. You got to be wanting to really grow your company. You got to want to put that extra 10 hours a week to working on your business and not just in your business. And so, yes, I would recommend it to anybody who's wanting to grow their company and provide great systems, checklists, workflows, great encouragement, and have accountability.
Hi, I'm Aaron Antis with Shaw Homes. I first heard about Clay through a mortgage lender here in town who had told me what a great job he had been doing for them, and I actually noticed he was driving a Lamborghini all of a sudden, so I was willing to listen. In my career, I've sold a little over $800 million in real estate. So honestly, I thought I kind of knew everything about marketing and homes. And then I met Clay, and my perception of what I knew and what I could do definitely changed. After doing $800 million in sales over a 15-year career, I really thought I knew what I was doing. I've been managing a large team of salespeople for the last 10 years here with Shaw Homes. And I mean, we've been a company that's been in business for 35 years. We've become one of the largest builders in the Tulsa area, and that was without Clay. So when I came to know Clay, I really thought, man, there's not much more I need to know, but I'm willing to listen. The interesting thing is our internet leads from our website has actually, in a 4-month period of time, has gone from somewhere around 10 to 15 leads in a month to 180 internet leads in a month. Just from the few things that he's shown us how to implement that I honestly probably never would have come up with on my own. So I got a lot of good things to say about the system that Clay put in place with us. And it's just been an incredible experience. I am very glad that we met and had the opportunity to work with Clay. So the interaction with the team and with Clay on a weekly basis is honestly very enlightening. One of the things that I love about Clay's perspective on things is that he doesn't come from my industry. He's not somebody who's in the home building industry. I've listened to all the experts in my field. Our company has paid for me to go to seminars, international builder shows, all kinds of places where I've had the opportunity to learn from the experts in my industry. But the thing that I found working with Clay is that he comes from such a broad spectrum of working with so many different types of businesses that he has a perspective that's difficult for me to gain, because I get so entrenched in what I do I'm not paying attention to what other leading industry experts are doing, and Clay really brings that perspective for me. It is very valuable time every week when I get that hour with him. From my perspective, the reason that any business owner who's thinking about hooking up with Thrive needs to definitely consider it is because the results that we've gotten in a very short period of time are honestly monumental. It has really exceeded my wildest expectation of what he might be able to do. I came in skeptical because I'm very pragmatic, and as I've gone through the process over just a few months, I've realized it's probably one of the best moves we've ever made. I think a lot of people probably feel like they don't need a business or marketing consultant because they maybe are a little bit prideful and like to think they know everything. I know that's how I felt coming in. I mean, we're a big company that's definitely one of the largest in town. And so we kind of felt like we knew what we were doing. And I think for a lot of people, they let their ego get in the way of listening to somebody that might have a better or different perspective than theirs. I would just really encourage you, if you're thinking about working with Clay, I mean, the thing is, it's month to month. Go give it a try and see what happens. I think in the 35-year history of Shaw Homes, this is probably the best thing that's happened to us. And I know if you give them a shot, I think you'll feel the same way. I know for me, the thing I would have missed out on if I didn't work with Clay is I would have missed out on literally an 1,800% increase in our internet leads. Going from 10 a month to 180 a month, that would have been a huge financial decision to just decide not to give it a shot. I would absolutely recommend Clay Clark to anybody who's thinking about working with somebody in marketing. I would skip over anybody else you were thinking about, and I would go straight to Clay and his team. I guarantee you're not going to regret it because we sure haven't.
My name is Danielle Sprick, and I am the founder of D Sprick Realty Group here in Tulsa, Oklahoma. After being a stay-at-home mom for 12 years and my 3 kids started school and they were in school full-time, I was at a crossroads and trying to decide what do I want to do? My degree and my background is in education, but after being a mom and staying home and all of that, I just didn't have a passion for it like I once did. My husband suggested real estate. He's a home builder, so real estate and home building go hand in hand, and we just rolled with it. I love people, I love working with people, I love building relationships, but one thing that was really difficult for me was the business side of things. The processes and the advertising and marketing. I knew that I did not have what I needed to make that what it should be. So I reached out to Clay at that time, and he and his team have been extremely instrumental in helping us build our brand, help market our business, our agents, the homes that we represent. Everything that we do is a direct line from Clay and his team and all that they've done for us. We launched our brokerage, our real estate brokerage, 8 months ago. And in that time, we've gone from myself and one other agent to just this week, we signed on our 16th agent. We have been blessed with the fact that we right now have just over 10 million in pending transactions. 3 years ago, I never would have even imagined that I would be in this role that I'm in today, building a business, having 16 agents. But I have to give credit where credit's due. And Clay and his team and the business coaching that they've offered us has been huge. It's been instrumental in what we're doing. Don't ever limit your vision. When you dream big, big things happen.
I started a business because I couldn't work for anyone else. I do things my way. I do what I think is in the best interest of the patient. I don't answer to insurance companies. I don't answer to large corporate organizations. I answer to my patient, and that's it. My thought when I opened my clinic was I can do this all myself. I don't need additional outside help in many ways. I mean, I went to medical school, I can figure this out. But it was a very, very steep learning curve. Within the first 6 months of opening my clinic, I had a $63,000 embezzlement. I lost multiple employees. Clay helped us weather the storm of some of the things that are just a lot of people experience, especially in the medical world. He was instrumental in helping with the specific written business plan. He's been instrumental in hiring good quality employees, using the processes that he outlines for getting in good talent, which is extremely difficult. He helped me in securing the business loans. He helped me with web development and search engine optimization. We've been able to really keep a steady stream of clients coming in because they found us on the web. With everything that I encountered, everything that I experienced, I quickly learned it is worth every penny to have someone in your team that can walk you through and even avoid some of the pitfalls that are almost invariable in starting your own business. I'm Dr. Chad Edwards, and I own Revolution Health and Wellness Clinic.
Clay, my honor to be on your show, and thank you for all you do. I hear the ripple effects from you are good ripple effects. You know what I mean? People rave about what they learned from you, so congratulations.
And we went from expecting maybe 250,000 this year to we're at 400,000. Hi, I'm Kelsey with K&D's Woodruff Finishing, business owner at 23. So I've been working this K&D's company for about 5 years now, and we started working with Thrive not too long ago. And we went from expecting maybe 250,000 this year to we're at 400,000. That's what we're going to hit or exceed. So we're pretty excited about that. It's been pretty much just listening to what they have to say. Their hiring process has just really been incredible as far as finding good quality help, and the just the accountability of meeting up with them weekly, and like such good insight, the resources that they have for specific business questions. It's all been really incredible. It's been a great experience, so I would recommend it to anybody.
What I've seen from Clay and his group at Thrive is they'll give you a simple system, and it's the simple systems are the ones that people can wrap their brain around. They're the ones that people can work with on a day-to-day basis.
Hi there, my name is Stephanie Pipkin. I am 24 years old and I own Black River Falls Cleaning Services. We opened in April of 2019 and it is now mid-June of 2020. So I wanted to talk today about the success and growth I have achieved by implementing the Proven Path with Clay Clark's team and my business coach Luke from Thrivetime. It has been insane to say the least. I started working with them in mid-February of this year, so we're about 4 months in of working together, and it has completely transformed my business in pretty much every facet. So I'm gonna check my notes here. So in 4 months, my leads have tripled. I was getting probably like 2 leads a week. Now I'm getting more in the like 10 to 15 leads a week. I have doubled my number of employees. I'm now hitting the highest revenue weeks in the history of the company, week to week it seems like. We went from about 6 appointments today as our highest in February to now 14 to 15 appointments a day. And hiring quality employees has become much simpler and less stressful by using their systems for hiring. I typically only get maybe 2 complaints a month, if that, and everybody shows up to work. I just have really high quality employees now, especially in something people typically consider a high turnover type of work, you know, cleaning houses, cleaning businesses. I have amazing employees now, and I get rid of the ones who are not so amazing and bring on new ones because of, you know, group interviews and interviewing every single week. It's just been great, and such I don't waste as much time on low quality candidates anymore. And your coach will hold you accountable, I mean, which I love. Again, the tough love is really great. You know, Luke's like a stern father figure, but he's also nice, but also stern when he needs to be, when I'm being lazy and not doing the things that I know I need to do because I don't want to do them. So that's just great. Worth every penny. I mean, I'd pay him $1 million a month if I can, and maybe someday I'll be able to, but I would just say go for it. If it seems like a good fit, just go for it. do what they say, even if you think it's stupid or ridiculous. Just do what they say because it'll work. You know, people, when they look at my business, you know, people in my town, they think I'm lucky. They think I'm just, you know, things just happen for me. And, you know, maybe I am lucky, but it has a lot to do with hard work and, you know, perseverance and, you know, working till you cry sometimes. That's just being an entrepreneur, which if you're a business owner, you understand that. But it's having these systems in place of, you know, of course I'm going to be successful. It's an absolute, because I have all this stuff in the background happening, and I have Luke and Clay and everybody on their team working really hard to make sure that I'm a success. And I can tell that they are just so excited every single week when I'm having all these wins and things like that. They're so excited for me. So it's the best thing ever, and I would suggest to anybody to work with them. So sorry for the long-winded reply, but I just had so much to say, and I could go on for hours probably about how amazing they are. But thank you to Clay and Luke and the entire team there, everything you guys have done for me, and I am so excited to continue to work with you for years to come. Thanks so much for watching.
My saying is, if it's important to you, hire a coach. And I think that's one of the reasons people are not successful is they eat a cheeseburger instead of hiring a coach, you know what I mean? And so my coach pushes me. They're younger than me. They push harder. They're trained. And as my rich dad always said, you know, amateurs don't have a coach, but professionals always have coaches. So I've always had coaches for whatever was important. You know, my rich dad was one of those persons. I wanted to learn how to play Monopoly in real life. So he was my coach.